All right, welcome to the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. I'm here with my good friend Billy Casagrand. Did I say it?
Yep, you said that correctly.
I butcher names a lot on this podcast, and it's
Oh man, my name gets butchered all kinds.
What have you heard?
Casagrand is a very frequent one because when you actually read my name, it's Casagrand. And a lot of people, when they actually look at my last name, oh, Billy Casagrand, they think I have like this almost type of, I guess, Spanish towards it or whatever. I mean, it doesn't really mess with me.
Yeah.
You know, because it's my last name. You know, I'm not going to get mad at somebody over if they pronounce my name wrong. I mean, it's just, just pure gibberish, really, when you think about it. But ultimately, how have you been doing, man?
Good. Yeah. So usually I butcher the names, but I try to ask the guests before before we start how to say the name. Even if it looks like it'd be easy to say, I still like, hey, just gonna say your name for me real quick, and then. I've been good. A little backstory with us is Billy's a comedian here in St. Louis and has been doing comedy for about a few years now. But we met on STL Live.
Yeah,
you were one of the OGs, the originals.
Yeah,
right here.
One of the starters, actually.
Yeah, a little clap out to the OGs of STL Live. So, actually, I can say this because we had the casting call at ARC, and I met you first because you got there early.
Yeah.
And so you were the first of the strangers casted for STL Live.
Oh, yeah, I actually remember that. I remember showing up that day because I had read about it, and I can honestly say I don't really remember where I read about it, but I remember, hey, this was going to be something. And I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to give this a shot. I really am.
Kool-Aid, anybody?
What up, Keenan?
Oh, Keenan Sargent's here, folks. Keenan, have a seat right here, my friend.
What's going on, my dude?
Oh, I ain't seen you in a while, bro.
Yeah, Keenan Sargent's in the building.
See, when Keenan works a lot, it's like, wow.
Me and Keenan just did Monday Night Metal last night. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we're here with Billy. We were talking about the STL Live auditions, and we just started talking about it. And Keenan was there that day, so that's the first day you guys met was at the STL Live.
I think it was like back in September. I think we did that.
September 2019. Yes.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. Before the world changed, we
within our eyes.
Oh yeah.
Right.
What's gonna happen?
But what did you think? What did both of you guys think when you did? You guys met at ARC. We had an audition in like the conference room. What was your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, before I had started with trying STL Live and trying out for that, I had initially decided to come out to say that I was with a friend of mine. He owns a bar in Wentzville. The place is called Lowry Streetside Pub. Mm-hmm. And this was actually years before STL Live had happened. And the way that I had actually got my start of doing comedy and deciding to really pursue this was I had showed up to the bar one day, and my friend's mother, she's passed away now.
Oh, my condolences, Doc.
Oh, yeah, but she was a very good friend of mine, and I've known his family a very long time. And we were talking one day, and I told her, I was like, well, have you ever tried to like really pursue your dreams or anything like that? And we got into this intimate conversation about what we really wanted to decide and do. And she was like, yeah, my family, we really decided to pursue our dreams after we had moved from New York, and they moved to Wentzville, and they had opened a bar. And it's a family-owned bar. It's a great place. Love the place. I know the family. Like I said, I know the family very well.
Yeah.
But during that day, I told her, I was like, you know what? I really want to pursue comedy. It's something that I've always had people tell me that I should try to do, that I have, they think I have potential in it. So on that day, I decided, I was like, you know what? all right, I'm really going to do this. I'm not going to, I'm not going to just talk bullshit about it. I'm actually going to pursue this. And from that day, and like I said, this was years ago, I really had decided to. But one of the problems I had with trying to become a comedian was I don't have the benefit of actually driving. And, when you want to get place to place, you got to be able to get places and drive places and whatnot, So
It's a struggle.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a struggle.
You gotta find yourself a good woman.
I did, and I did find myself.
Someday for me.
Yay!
But you have a car though, so
But like I had said, I had eventually got my start walking the street, and that's how I developed myself. And whenever I would go to like a Dollar General or I'd go to the bar, I started making myself go, different places. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started actually working my jokes. And then when I'd get home, I'd write down things on little scrap pieces of paper, or I would just write out full skits to actually say, hey, maybe this is funny, maybe that's funny, but that's really how I got my start doing it. And then the first time I actually got up on stage was at the Funny Bone in St. Charles. And in all reality, I didn't have any real, since I really didn't really have any real background in my own mind, I should say, I ended up, I just got on stage and I was drunk. I was very drunk.
I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what did you talk about? What was the stuff what was your set about?
my initial set, I can't really say that I really remember it too well because, like I said, I put on this mask. I was like, all right. And I really just improv'd it. Mm-hmm. And it didn't go over very well. I bombed. I'll admit it. I mean,
well, that's all right.
But
I mean, you might have a year slip-ups every now and then, but you kind of learn from that.
You're going to bomb. I mean, there's no
that's
way
just
around
one of the things that happens. I mean, you're gonna bomb, and you got to come to terms with that, and you got to accept that. But that's how, in my mind, you think like that's how you really make yourself a better comedian. Is that you go to these different places, but in reality, you have to bomb, you have to fail, but you can't give up on yourself. If you give up on yourself and...
aiming towards it. Aim the mic towards it. There you go, buddy.
And, if you really give up on yourself, then you're really not going to be able to really pursue your dream. Mm-hmm. And in a way, with all the bad times that I was having at the beginning of trying to become a comedian, I really didn't know what I was doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, then I think then what ends up happening is you'll end up taking yourself down levels. And if you take yourself down levels, then you're not really going to truly realize, hey, as many times as I fall, I got to get up that many times.
Right.
And, getting up that many times, it's a struggle.
So just a little bit on your background. So when you were getting into comedy, obviously you had some demons. You drank, quite often.
Yes.
Put it nicely, I guess. But
it's okay. You can put it any way you want.
But so you're kind of deconstructing, self-destructing. But did you feel like comedy was your way out? That if any way to get out of that downward spiral? Because I've been an alcoholic myself too, and been on that downward spiral. And I feel like what I built here is keeps me afloat from kind of going down that spiral again. But was that kind of for you a way that you knew maybe that this was a way out? If I could just kind of do this comedy, it was kind of a way to get out of your downward spiral?
When I wouldn't initially say that, like, when it first started, it was like a downward spiral because I didn't really realize it. And when you don't realize it, you know, you don't really know what you're doing to yourself. And, you know, I'm in this situation at the time where, yeah, I was an alcoholic, but at the same time, I didn't really think I was giving myself, maybe I was just doing the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was just saying, hey, maybe I'm just doing this, you know, for my own personal benefit. But it wasn't until until I actually met my girlfriend. Her name's Terry Kessler. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until I actually met her, and we've been together for almost 10 years now.
Oh.
You know, and she has been... She has been one of the greatest influences in my life. And at the time when we first met, we both had our things that we were dealing with. And at the time, I was still in a rough state. But as her and I pursued our relationship and we grew together, you know, we really gave to each other.
Yeah.
And having that type of support and having that type of person that really backs you up is such a great thing. And I have to say that I love her to death for it. You know, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for her.
Right. And you know, like with that, you know, a lot of people, even some I know, they've been through struggles. They had their demons. They've been through, you know, like hell and back. But in a glimpse of a new eye, you find yourself comfortable what you're doing, whether it's your comedy, whether it's, you know, your character or whatever brings a spark to you.
Yeah.
And you know you have someone on your side that can basically be like, honey, you got this. Go out there and do it.
Yeah.
You know, you're always gonna have that. You're gonna have that cheering section.
Yeah.
So you never want to try to. You don't want to try to stop, or you can slow down if you want to, but like you still want to pursue what your life is purpose for.
Yeah. Well, the thing was with her is that when her and I initially got together, like I said, you know, we both had our demons that we were dealing with, but we were there to back each other up. And having that type of relationship with somebody, whether it's good times, bad times, whether you guys partied together, whether you did this, whether you did that, you know, if you have that type of support, I really think that pursuing your dream and becoming what you want to become, I almost don't have any words to describe it in a way, you know, because if I didn't have that type of support, I wouldn't be able to get up on stage. I wouldn't have been able to, like I said, become the person that I am. And the person that I initially was, and Matt can verify this, when he first met me and I first tried out, he knew that I was an alcoholic. And Matt and I, we, like you said, we're the OGs of STL Live, you know, but in a way, I kind of let you down. And it wasn't really on purpose. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying this, you know, in any type of way that I had anything against you. If anything, I had something against me. You know, you saw something in me. And like I said, having that type of backup is a really good thing to have. And a lot of people don't see that. And when Matt was doing STL Live in the beginning, I ended up having to really drop out in a way. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I wasn't doing that to try to be an offensive state for you, but I had to get myself back on track. And by getting myself back on track, I had to be with Terry. I had to, you know, really settle down, get a job. You know, I really had to look for myself. And
hey, what's up?
Hey. And I really had to look for myself, and I really had to get myself on a real straight and narrow. But in the same sense, I didn't want to give up on doing comedy because this is something that I love. You know, this is something I'll take to the grave with me.
Right.
And, you know, finding success in comedy is, in my mind, you don't find success through whether it's money or whether it's some big time thing. Finding success in whatever it is you pursue as a dream, you have to make that a success in your own head. If it's not a successful thing in your own head, then one of the problems that it's going to be is that you're really going to let go of it, and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to go back to doing this, and I'm just going to give up. And something that Terry did for me was she never gave up on me. Mm-hmm. You know, when a lot of people that I knew really gave up and said, oh, man, you don't have what it takes, you don't have this. You know, for me, comedy was more of I knew I was successful at it when I had finally started working at my current job that I'm at, because I told myself, you know what I'm going to do? I may work at a Circle K, a gas station, but what I'm going to do is every day that I go in, I'm working at the cash register, but when people come through, that's how I'm going to snap my jokes out.
Yeah, you want to try to interact with the customer.
Yeah.
Right.
And interacting with the customers that come through town now, they actually recognize me. In fact, yesterday, I took some of Terry's grandkids to the park, and one of the guys that came through, he was a umpire for a Little League. Oh. Well, he's seen me plenty of times up at the gas station. He was like, hey, you're that guy at the gas station that's always cracking all those jokes and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I do stand-up on the side. Mm. And he's like, dude, you know what? Me and the wife are going to have to come see you sometime whenever you've actually got a date to go out and do it. But currently, I'm in the mode of I have to take care of my responsibilities.
Right.
And when I had first started doing comedy, one of the things I wasn't doing, I wasn't taking care of myself or my responsibilities. And like I said, when I had first met Matt, you know, I wasn't being responsible for myself. And I can look back on that now and I can say, you know what? The person that I am now versus the person that I was, I feel so proud of myself.
Well, you're doing good. I'm proud of you too.
You know?
Because like even when we stayed, like when we first kind of got in, and with me, it's like, okay, you know, I'll see how it goes. And I think with comedy, it's actually a great state. It's also kind of a great platform for all of us to be open with ourselves and to know what could make people laugh. Not necessarily what couldn't, but you're a confident person when it comes to
definitely.
This. Because no matter what you do, it could be something stupid and people can laugh. I do it every day at work. But like, you know, you build that confidence when there are people that support you.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we always
definitely.
support you no matter what.
You know, I see a lot of people, and this is just kind of like my own method. You know, I see a lot of people that I interact with, whether it's, you know, like I said, you know, like at a Dollar General or a Walmart, or if it was at a bar. I mean, I don't even go to bars anymore, really. You know, I did for my birthday, but that was it.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, it was that matter of taking responsibility for myself, and I hadn't been doing that. And if it wasn't for my girlfriend Terry, then, you know, I could be in a worse state. If, you know, a lot of people out there nowadays, and it's, I guess, in a way, it's kind of sad to say this, but they give up on themselves. And if you give up on yourself and you don't really go through what it takes to make yourself the person you are, then you're never really going to see the benefit. And, you know, like I said, it's hard. You know, it was very hard for me. You know, I'd been doing comedy for about 9-10 years now. And I really wouldn't have got my start if it wasn't for Terry, because she believed in me. And that makes me, you know, that makes me love her so much more, because it turned me into a person, like I went on this journey of becoming who I am today. You know, this odyssey pretty much. And it took almost 9 years to really see the type of person I can be. And I went through a lot of hard times and I went through a lot of struggle. But it wasn't until I really realized the benefit of what this connection and this comedy and this belief can do for me. And, you know, when I met you, Matt, you know, with STL Live, I can't really say that I was fully in a mature state. And if anything, it was bad for you because you were dealing with a guy that probably had the potential to do something, but didn't see it in himself.
No, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but but I'm pretty. A lot of things don't bother me though. I'm pretty chill, right, Keenan? Would you say so?
You're mellow like a bunch of watermelons. So
I'm a bunch of watermelons.
Mellow like melon.
No, but I will give you the benefit that you did always show up on time and show up early. I think a couple of times there was an issue that you kind of got. You know, you can't have a comedy show at a bar without having people getting drinks. So there's a couple times we might have a little issue, but it worked itself out. It always works itself out.
I mean, as long as you're able to sell yourself, you know.
Here's the thing about you, Billy. I think you have some kind of greatness inside you that you haven't tapped into yet, and I think you're funny. And I think there's what were we doing? The scene. I think you guys were in the scene where we were filming Mary's skit. Remember we were doing Mary's like movie trailer, and he was playing a PE teacher.
No, I think it was
Wick. Wanda, I think Wanda Wick or something.
Wanda Wick or whatever. But
that was great.
I saw like your potential just with that. You came in. I was like, I just need to play a PE teacher, and you took it to a whole nother level that nobody could play a PE teacher like you played a PE teacher, and I thought you were the best of the day on that. I really did, so I think you got something great, and I'm glad to see that because we all have our demons. If it's not alcohol, it's self-doubt or
it could be drugs
or depression. I mean, everybody goes through their ups and downs. A lot of these artists here have roller coasters of ups and downs, and
I was gonna say we did.
You're doing good.
The John Jackson skit, didn't we?
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the way here. It was just. I think that was like your first skit, and
yeah, that actually was.
Because like next to the day of the JoJo, that was my own thing. But you were supposed to be casting there, but you had a problem. That's all right, cool. So with the whole John Jackson and Tim Sullivan thing, I thought that was a great chemistry, and I thought that was like a great
that was
aspect
very
of how
fun.
we did it.
I actually improv'd that whole thing.
But we still stuck to it. I mean, like I do improv on my
like working out.
I would do improv too. I'll most likely do ad libs. That was the case, but I think the way how it went, and we know in reality with sportscasts like that, it can happen.
Yeah, and
so we kind of just basically made an example like, hey, there could be some dick sportscasters out there.
Oh yeah,
and you know, it's like, hey, it ain't new, so. Here you go. Here's a dosage of it.
Well, but, speaking of news and sportscasters, you know what that reminds me of is the passing of Norm Macdonald recently.
Oh, yeah.
And he was on SNL.
Rest in peace, man.
Breaks my heart, yeah.
And he was always doing the news skit.
I love that. The weekend update.
Yeah, weekend update.
What was I think it was Saturday we had the news about that. Mm-hmm. Or no, I was on vacation.
That was just a few days ago.
I was like, damn.
Oh.
51.
Yeah. That affected me. That his death, Robin Williams and Chris Farley, like when I heard their passing, like it made me kind of like sit back and like, that fucking hurts.
Yeah, Robin Williams, like that hit me. Chester Bennington for one. Who is it? Who is it? Not Pryor. It was another one. I think Gene Wilder. I only know him from like 2 movies, but like that was like a world. Crying in one state, like
one of my favorites, and this is when I was growing up. George Carlin.
Oh yes,
When I actually first heard about him passing away, and this is back in the I think
2007, 2008.
Yeah, right.
So Thomas the Tank is the only thing I know about in cars.
I was fresh out of high school then.
Jeez.
But man, the dude was just pretty much a genius with the work that he did.
He was great with it.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. You got to take criticism very well to do shit that funny. And he would take it like a man. Mm-hmm. And he would deliver it well. And
well, with Chris Farley, he did that one skit, the Chippendales with Patrick Swayze.
Oh boy, that was good.
And everybody loved that one.
That was an epic, that was classic. But go back on George Carlin, his comedy made you think though.
It was very smart.
Very smart. It's kind of like he was joking, but yet you kind of after you watch George Carlin, you kind of think of society and the government, and you're kind of huh. That's
we take his logic.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That's interesting theories there. Yeah.
Another guy that I really liked, and this is back when I was in high school, I liked Dave Attell.
Dave Attell.
But he's still
Attell.
But he's still alive, right? No.
Yeah, he's still he's still alive.
Oh, we're talking about dead people.
Oh man, no, I was trying to talk more about influence.
Oh yeah, Dave Attell. Yeah, no, I've heard his stand up.
He used to have a show back on Comedy Central.
Yeah, just 56. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else would you, growing up stand up wise? See, I never really wanted to do stand up. I don't think I would be very good at, but
it depends how you want to deliver it.
Yeah. I liked my favorites is Dave Chappelle and.
Oh yeah, everybody loves Dave Chappelle.
I like his Rick James skits.
Oh Rick James, bitch.
I
liked how.
I think that the Dave Chappelle show back in the 2000s.
Fuck, couch.
If that would have kept going, I think that would have overtook SNL and all that stuff. I think that
because my mom used to watch that, Def Jam, Bernie Mac. You got that type of comedy, and of course, for and I'll be respectful on this, for a black society or for black comedy, it's amazing how they can just go off on anything.
Yeah.
But yet they're still gonna get hit with criticism. But they don't give a fuck. They're comedians.
Why are you saying? Oh, it's dude.
That's the point.
Yeah, there's points in this in this form of comedy that they do that a lot of people they'll look back on it. They'll be like, why would they even say that? It's to get the humor. It's to get the laughter.
Because you got Richard Pryor.
Oh man,
God, he was different. He wasn't as today, but Richard Pryor, he still had that he had that style.
Yeah,
it was simple, but it was funny.
Yeah. The one thing I'll always remember about Richard Pryor when he told the skit about how he accidentally set himself on fire.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah.
I think it was SNL or it was his own thing.
No, it was his own thing. He had a special going, and during the special, he was talking about how, and one of the demons that Richard Pryor actually had, he actually dealt with a lot of cocaine.
Ah, yes.
And he was at the hotel, and he ended up setting himself on fire somehow because because at the time he was smoking crack. And yeah, it was a really bad thing. When you really think about it and you hear about it, you're like, wow, this guy had a lot of problems too,
Yeah, I think that was a stand up at the Sunset Strip. I think he did that on that one. Yeah. But yeah, he went through a lot. And
yeah.
a lot of comedians have, and I think that's what makes sometimes a person a great comedian is when they go through some kind of turmoil or some kind of tragedies in their life that really kind of makes him a really great comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said with myself, when I had first attempted to start doing comedy, man, I was dealing with a lot of demons myself, I had a lot of self-doubt like you had told me before. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I had a demon with was alcoholism. And it wasn't until I really got myself cleaned up, and if it wasn't for Terry, my girlfriend, I probably would have never got myself cleaned up, and I couldn't, looking back on it, and I was like, wow, and I don't say this to, I don't mean to sound like I'm telling people, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, to clean yourself up. Live your life how you want to live your life.
Just be careful
but don't
what you
be
do.
dangerous about it.
Yeah, just be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. I mean, some people quit cold turkey and they don't drink again. But I mean, if you're able to kind of control it, that you just, if it's a weekend thing, once a weekend thing and things like that, it's just that I got to the point where it was like a nightly thing. So like to be able to
Same
go to
happened to
sleep, I would have to drink to go to bed, or I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. And so for me, with my ADD, it would kick in. Like that's how I would like make myself like go to sleep, and then it just kept being every night. I would have to kind of the only way to fall asleep, I'd have to get some beers or whatever to be able to
come back home, sit down.
Well, I mean, it's like with me, I go to cons and there's times, the right people, we party. And it's like, okay, I could drink. Like, if I go to a bar right now and there's like a show or something, okay, I just get like one beer, whatever. But if I'm at a con and I know I'm staying there for the weekend, pal. Yeah. That's what we get.
Just keep going and going.
You've never seen me drunk before, but it's amazing. I'm the same way.
I wouldn't think you'd be any different. Well, that's the thing, too, is...
You don't got to lie to us, Keenan.
No, like, it's so scary. It's like, I don't slow down. I just, hey, how you doing?
Well, even when I'm sure there'd be people, when I drink, I don't really get different either. I'm not like mean. I don't get mean or anything. I just get I drink and I get tired and I go to bed. It's not like I get
you got those that could be like the calm, balanced drunk, and you got others where it could be like the aggressive drunk. The aggressive one is
exactly.
Terrible. It's terrible.
That would happen to me sometimes, and my friends that that I know at the bar that I was talking about earlier, they tell me sometimes, they'd be like, Billy, man, you really need to slow it down. You really need to slow it down. And Terry told me the same thing. She's like, you're not controlling yourself, and I wasn't seeing it at the time, and that's a scary thing when you really look back and think about it. It's a scary thing. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble. You can ruin yourself.
You gotta control it right.
Yeah, if you don't have that type of control over yourself, whether it be drugs or alcohol, and it shouldn't be drugs at all in my book personally. I don't have anything against people, smoking marijuana or weed or whatever you want to call it. I got no problem with that.
Be the party.
Yeah. If, you're hanging out and you're having a good time, that's cool. But don't be that guy that gets so drunk that everybody's going to look back on you and say, man, that was messed up.
And since I mostly drive, like, okay, even if I'm at just a regular house party, it's like, okay, I can still drink and sober up quick because I'm just being active. And, like I said, I never had a problem, and I'm just controlling it right.
Yeah. And for me, like I was telling Matt a little earlier, when we first met for STL Live, I wasn't at that state. And when I wasn't at that state, I didn't even realize it. I'd go out and I would drink all the time, and I didn't really know the potential that I had. I had, like I said, I had Terry with me, and at the time, both of us, we were kind of in a hard state, but it wasn't until we really started backing each other up and, telling each other, we're not going to stab each other in the back. We're not going to be this. We're not going to be that. And if it wasn't for her, then, I really don't think I could be the person that I am today. And now, one of the benefits of going through that downward spiral to come out to what I am now, I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
The
And
blessed are in tears.
Yeah. I mean, I almost want to cry about it right now.
Well, you wouldn't be the first one to cry on this podcast, just saying. But maybe the first guy, so whenever you
But, I mean, it's just going back and looking back on those days where I had to work so hard to be who I am today. Mm-hmm. I look back on it now, and it's like I really don't know.
It's like you slap yourself in the face to kind of really
like you look in the mirror,
get yourself up on it.
Yeah, you look in the mirror and I was beating myself up, and I thought I was doing what I thought was the good things and whatnot, and I really wasn't.
There's a thing I say to myself, like, you fight your battles, fight your fears, cool. And another would be like, okay, fight yourself to understand yourself.
Yeah.
When you're down there on your last luck,
Yeah.
you still got a lot of fight left.
Yeah. Oh, no, I can totally believe in that. I can believe in that because the road that I took, it was so damn hard. And it was a lot of self-realization. And, the way out for me was comedy and my girlfriend. And if it wasn't for these influences that I had, these genuine, true influences, I wouldn't have seen my potential. And not seeing your potential, it keeps you from really doing the things that you wish you could truly pursue. And if you don't pursue those things, then you don't really see who you really are inside.
Sorry, I'm trying to share the video out. That's your inner voice talking to you, though. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Yes. But, so what was the turning point for you? Was there a moment for you?
Really, the turning point was when I had finally gotten the job that I'm at now.
Uh-huh.
And Terry had wanted me to get out of the bars. And she really wanted me to work more and stay on the straight and narrow. But during that process, I never really gave up on my comedy. And I made sure that if I'm going to be on this straight and narrow, I'm going to find a way to make it work. And to make it work, I work at a cash register. And I may work in a cash register, but that's how I decided, you know what? I get these people that come, I get so many people that come through that recognize me for the comedy that I interact with them.
So what you say to somebody? Let's play a little scenario here. Keenan's buying. What are you buying at the gas station here, Keenan?
Condoms.
Condoms?
Or
Well, what? Are you looking for the deluxe size, my man?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, we know that ain't going to happen. We don't.
The deluxe size?
Yeah.
Oh, you looking for Magnum?
Yeah, possibly. I'm looking for the cheap
you're going to have
brands.
to go down the aisle that way, my man. I don't know if we carry black guy size, though.
I go for the purple box.
The purple box?
I can look in back to see if we got any. I don't know if we actually carry them, but
I get the little finger got things, the little things that go in your fingers.
Oh, God.
Those,
man, you trying to romance?
And then I got to wrap it in something to just make it filled out. But other than that, that's the size I get.
God, you must be a piano player, aren't you?
Yeah. so people come through. I mean, yeah, keep going.
Oh, I was going to say, well, when the people come through, that's how I started really practicing my improv. Because when I was at work, people come through, they buy their things, but they tell you a lot about themselves. And by them telling me about themselves and interacting with that, that's how I improved my improv on how I can actually interact with people. And it was such a benefit that now people, whenever I go around, whether it's Winsville or O'Fallon or the local area right now, a lot of people actually notice me now. Like I was telling Matt earlier, I took Terry's grandkids to the local park in Lake St. Louis, and one of the guys came through, and he's one of the locals that comes through the gas station, but he's also an umpire. And he actually came through, and he's like, "Hey, you're that guy at the gas station." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I actually also do comedy on the side." He's like, "Oh, man, me and my wife are going to have to come and see you."
Right.
And, I was like, "Hey, I'm actually starting to reap the benefits of this work that I'm putting in."
Well, yeah, like once you do that for a while, let alone if it's like small baby steps, people are going to see that.
Yeah.
I've been doing what I've been doing for
Definitely.
years. And it's like, hey, there's Keenan. Hey, he's doing that. He's doing that. Like, we all have that platform where we didn't know it was there. We just having to take charge, and we launched.
Yeah.
Keenan is probably the most famous person that I know. Probably.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yes.
That I know. That's why I have him come on. I was like, just come on my podcast, Keenan. I need some of your people.
It's like, yay.
But
Well, I think one of the things that really helps is actually finding your method. And
Like what suits you and what makes you more comfortable.
well, not so much that it makes you more comfortable, but the way that once you really see it, that's how you know this is the way that it works. This is the way that can make me a better comedian. This is the way that can make me a better person. This is the way that I can actually be something genuine,
Yeah.
you know.
so what? You were telling me earlier about the comedy. You did this thing in August. So let's talk about that. So you did do stand up.
Yeah.
At the Helium last August.
Yeah.
It was a stand up comedian contest. And
Haven't
then
been there
you
in a
were-
while.
Yeah,
and you were in
God, what was it called? It was the Helium Club Best Comedian in St. Louis contest.
Okay.
And the date that I was on, I had some stuff written out, but I decided to go with my interaction with my actual job. And I decided to just be like, you know what? I'm going to talk about my job. And this is what is going to be my stage platform for the crowd and whatnot. And it was a 5-minute skit or, 5-minute stand-up or however you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And I got on stage and I talked about my job the way that I thought would be the way to actually be something funny. And I just talked about normal days, this happening, that happening, and whatnot. And one of the things that made me feel like a real success about it was after I had gotten off stage and I was getting ready to head home for the night because the contest was over, I was outside, well, not actually outside, but, where the bar area is at and the bathroom area is at. And I was waiting on Terry because she was actually using the bathroom at the moment. And I'll never forget this day for the rest of my life. It's so cool that I had people come out. And, I mean, they were just different people watching and whatnot. I had about 5 or 6 different people come up to me and tell me, they were like, wow, that was really cool. And, that was really funny. It's like, I can totally relate to doing that and whatnot, And the feeling I got inside about it was just, I mean, I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, I'm actually
building a fan base.
Yeah, I'm actually developing a fan base. And the fact that I recognized developing this fan base, whether it was just at the club or was it from work or was it from, now people are really noticing. And in the beginning when I started, it was so hard and I just worked and I worked and I worked for it, And once I finally realized I'm actually developing a fan base, that was such a cool moment.
So when you do your stand, what's some of the stuff you talked about? What's your kind of go-to subjects or your set is about? Is it just about your life in general, customers that you meet at your work? I mean,
it's really a little bit about my own life and a lot to do with the interaction that I have with customers, whether it's them buying something or just talking to people. What I do is that when I have interaction with people, I tend to write it down like short little spots, like just like a little catchphrase to do it or something like that, something I can really remember it with. And that really helped me develop the way that like the type of stand-up comedy that I do now. And, like I said, I put in all this work from all these years of just grinding and grinding and grinding that I got this benefit from it now. And to really genuinely see this benefit happen, it makes me feel so good. Like, one of the things I talked about during the contest was one of the things that there's a lot of customers that come through. They buy a lot of Swisher Sweets.
Yeah.
Or they buy Dutches. And one of the things I had talked about was, I was like, yeah, man, I remember I see these, these kids come through and they're getting Dutches and, they're getting Swishers, whatever. And it's like, man, you don't got to lie to me. I know what you're doing here. You're going to go home. You're going to wrap that blunt up, and then, like just knowing that realization of how you interact with people and how you see people, it can help develop you, like I said, as a stand-up so well. Mm-hmm. And that helped me develop so well that I just improv'd that entire contest that night. I just improv'd it. I had a little bit written down so I could remember what I was doing. But most of the stuff that I did, it was just improv. But it was genuine.
What's some other stuff that you said during that night?
I talked about the type of people that actually come through and you can see them when they're actually drunk.
Been there.
Yeah.
What do they do?
It's just how the interaction they have. A lot of people that have come through the gas station and they've been drunk before. I've had people yell at me for no reason. They're like, well, you don't have this kind of thing, or you don't have that. It's like, dude, what are you getting all pissed off about? And, in my own mind, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I did that shit too. But I use that as, something that, once you have something that people can really genuinely relate to, that's how my method works.
We're like walking mirrors. You see what you used to be.
Yeah, you're seeing yourself. Whether it's like an up or a down or a side to side, if you really sit back and look at it and think about it, then you're really seeing yourself in a way.
Yeah.
And if you can see the benefits and you can see whether it's, like I said, the down or the up, then I think you can really make yourself a better comedian doing that.
What probably helps you with your overcoming too is if you see a bunch of drunk people come in and people kind of like low on their like life or whatever, that they're kind of like having some tough times or whatever. Because I know it's like when I'm kind of like on my highs and my positive and I'm doing all these podcasts and I'm building this network and I'm building this studio. No offense to all my buddies out there, but I don't like to be around negative energy, and I don't like to kind of like. Because I feel like it's contagious. I feel like it's almost like COVID.
Oh, I
just don't want to catch that shit. I want a vaccine for that negative energy. So I don't like to be around negative energy. So not that I have any issues with people that have negative energy. It's just I try to. That's why I like this. That's why this is how I get my positive drug every day. I have Keenan come over.
Well, I think in a way that I can relate to that with the whole negative energy thing is that, like I said, you don't really see it happening.
People are jealous.
Yeah.
People are jealous of that. Because like they're watching you on TV or they back then, oh, Bill, you're not going to do shit.
Yeah.
And then years later.
A lot of people want to tell you that you don't have what it takes. But then the moment then they start seeing you have what it takes,
like,
they're like, holy shit.
And I mean, like, I could be around positive, I could be a dick at times, go figure, but it's like, it's one way you can do it in a respectful way. It's another was like, fuck you, like, shit like that. But it's how you really deliver it.
Yeah.
There is still good hearts out there.
Oh, yeah.
With bad intentions.
Yeah.
But, you use it against your own will.
Yeah.
But you have to use it right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I can honestly say that, when I genuinely first started pursuing the idea of comedy and stand-up, I really didn't even believe in myself. And, it's once you really put in that real work to actually do it and all the, just grinding and all this work that I had put into actually being who I am and to finally get noticed. I mean, this took about 10 years. And this is before I even met Matt that I decided to pursue comedy. But I still had, and like Matt said, I had a lot of demons that I'm dealing with. And if it wasn't for actually really genuinely pursuing what I wanted, I don't think I would have overcame it.
Right.
And I can honestly thank Matt for that.
Oh, well, you did it yourself. I didn't do anything.
Well,
I didn't do shit.
But they say you do it like you said, you do it yourself. It's not that I did it myself. It's like being on that journey. And, being on that journey of trying to become this thing, I can honestly say, like I said, it is finally starting to pay off. It's, the work that I put in, and I hurt myself a lot in the process. And I can't even believe that I actually did that to myself.
Well, I mean, something like I told Matt is like, for all of us here, we're building our own platforms, and we're basically kind of just stepping up to see what we got. And you're going to have those leaders where they can tell you straightforward, you got potential, you got the look, you got that talent. And there's others that can be harsh about it, but they actually want that type of professional feel. Mm-hmm. But like for you, you giving us a chance. So like you giving Billy a chance, me, AG, you give a lot of other people a chance to see what they can bring to the table.
Right.
And even if there are bad falls or even if there are, things that didn't really add up, that's okay. It's a learning experience. And then like with you, you learn along the way. And you're still getting your name out there. You're still putting Billy Casagrand out there.
Oh yeah, I definitely try to keep my name out there. But I don't want to lose who I am in the process. And it was finding who I am to really see the benefit of, I went down this hard road of alcohol and drugs, and I did a lot of these things that I just didn't have any control over because I didn't have any control over me. And I was letting myself down in the process. And letting myself down in the process, I didn't really see anything happening. But I didn't give up on the dream that makes me want to be who I am.
Right.
There's a certain responsibility that you have to take in order to make sure that you're taking the steps to be what you want to be.
Well, what's your next step now? What are you working on? What can we see in the future coming out with?
Honestly, I think I'm really just going to stick with the stand-up. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not going to leave my actual job that I work with, but I have a new type of motivation. And through that new type of motivation, I think that I could use that as actual stand-up work. And, I really got to get back on the notepad. That's something I've got to do because, I've developed my mind like an elephant memory in a way. I don't mean that as a, like, hey, check me out, motherfuckers. No, it's nothing like that. That's through the process of becoming who I am today. I had to develop my mind to be really strong. And through that process, I started learning more. And it's really something that, I'm at a point where, I actually believe in myself now. I really think that if I keep going and I keep genuinely putting forth the real effort, then I think I could have an even better name. And in fact, Terry and I were going to be going to New York on the New Year's Eve last weekend.
Okay.
And we're going to see the ball drop. But I'm going to try to get into a few stand-up clubs out there too.
Okay, so you going way out there. I like that.
Yeah. Like I said, you really got to get your name out there, like I did with the gas station. That's how I got a lot of people to recognize me just here in town.
So, like, if there's a documentary on Billy, like, what would be a line to kind of introduce Billy?
And
Living the dream?
A movie about Billy. Who would play Billy? Who would play Billy?
I don't know. Who do you think?
If
you saw me,
not him. I was gonna say Whit Harris. I'm like, no, he's Where's that?
Sinbad would play Keenan. They would
God damn, Sinbad.
they would do that thing that
I love the guy with Sinbad.
Robert De Niro did and Al Pacino in that last movie,
he's
Martin
still alive at that
Scorsese
time,
movie.
Sinbad's pretty
They would
old,
make
actually.
Sinbad look younger. They'd use that CGI and to play Keenan. That's who would play Keenan in the movie.
Damn.
Billy would be played by. Let me look at you.
I would say Woody Harrelson, like at least.
A young Woody Harrelson. They would have to be
Yours could be Orlando Bloom.
Orlando.
Yeah.
I'll take it. They're gonna have to like put some prosthetics on his face to make him look ugly, but they can do it though.
Remember Keanu Reeves.
Remember, he played a pirate.
But they can do it though.
But like, what would be like that one line to kind of introduce the movie?
Like I said, man, living the dream. You got to live the dream in order to make sure that you can pursue it.
Billy Casagrand.
No, it'd be Billy Casagrand, Keenan Sargent,
How you doing?
Matt Schmidt.
Well, I think like every one of us individually, we need to do like a documentary, just like a whole background or whatever.
It would be. We do have some behind the scenes footage, and then we have the audition tapes of the STL Live. So there are some. I guess I should document more of like the building of this podcast and the building of the network and the building of the
Like
studio.
the history behind
I'd
it.
want
I
Norm
probably
Macdonald.
should do.
Unfortunately, he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
And well, sadly, I know the work of his comedy, but I never really seen it. The most relevant one that I know he did was Fairly Odd Parents, like years ago, and he played a genie, and the genie's name was Norm, and I was like, okay, I like that.
Who are you talking about?
Norm Macdonald.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, Fairly Odd is a cartoon. He's in there, and he plays the genie.
Watch Dirty Work. That thing's like a genius back in the day. Dirty Work
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of the best movies of the 90s.
Definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you're going to get into stand up. Well, that's good. That's good to see that you're doing good. Anything else that's going on?
well, I'm actually going to be. Me and Terry, we're actually going to be going to see Bill Burr at the end of September.
Is he going to be in St. Louis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Impractical Jokers, I think, or is that? Or no, that just passed.
To what?
Impractical Jokers.
I don't know. I think it's just him. Because we actually bought tickets back, I think, right around May.
Where's he playing at?
Fabulous Fox.
Oh, okay. That'd be a good show.
Yeah,
That'd be a good show.
that is something I've been really psyched about. Like I said, we bought tickets a long time ago because I've never actually seen him live. I mean, I've seen him on TV plenty of times, but I've never actually seen him live. And he's always been one of my favorites. Hell, he was on Chappelle's show.
God, it's been a while since I've seen Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, he
years
was
and
back
years.
when he had hair, yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Well, it's good to see that you're doing good. I'm proud
Thank
of you.
I appreciate that.
I'd say it publicly, I'm proud of you, Billy. I always thought you were one that maybe underrated, maybe didn't get to his potential, but I saw a lot of great things, and even the skits that you did for STL Live, the John Jackson and the military one, he was funny in that one. I'm trying to think of some other ones that you were funny in when you did the.
Me and A.G. Shaw, we did the Super Mario.
That was a classic.
Now it's a Bowser.
That was a classic. Yeah.
I still got the costume.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, for me, I can honestly say that I'm not really going to give up doing stand-up. I mean, this is something that like I said, I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. You know, I may be 37 years old right now, but
Yeah, he's still young.
yeah, you know, I like to think that all the years ahead is how I'm going to really reap the benefit of what I see. You know,
Right.
a lot of people, they can say, they're like, oh, you know, they started commodity. They started comedy back when they were this age or that age, you know. If it really wasn't for a lot of friends of mine that I know back in, you know, Wentzville, I don't think I ever really would have started. And, you know, doing this interview, you know, I feel like this is a big step for me in a way. You know, I've got Matt and I've got Keenan. They both believed in me. You know, we did a lot of interaction years ago. But dealing with all the things that I had to deal with is really what genuinely made me a better person.
Yeah, the juggle what you can, dude.
Yeah. You know, if I talked about past relationships that I had with, whether it be women, friends, men, just growing up in general.
Relationships with men?
Well, I mean friends.
I can't judge you.
What are you talking about, Matt?
I love
You're the
all
one
my
with the
pieces.
tiny. But
Men can hurt too.
No.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, what you're saying.
But what I meant by like just relationships in general, you know, if I didn't have these relationships with these people that I know, I don't think I'd be the person that I am today. And, you know, I could have seen a lot of downfall. You know, there's a lot of stuff I didn't talk about just right now. You know, one of the things before I even met Terry, I was actually with a girl, and I was with her, but I was with her in all the wrong ways, and it honestly almost got me killed.
Who?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you the person's name.
You're fine.
We're going to leave this alone.
I'd almost get you killed, though. You can just give us that story.
The way it almost got me killed was it got me addicted to drugs.
Ew.
Yeah, I was addicted to methamphetamine.
Oh.
Wow.
And this is before I even met Matt. And that was like I said, it was a deadly situation, and I didn't even realize it then. And, you know, in that relationship, I had a lot of benefits at the time, but I didn't really have the benefit of seeing the bad parts that I was a part of, and the bad things that I was actually doing. And, you know, I was with this relationship for all the wrong reasons. And like I said, it almost, in a way, it almost got me killed.
Wow.
And, you know, it wasn't till years later I actually met Terry, but at that time I was still an alcoholic. And then my life really started to slowly change and really become this different person.
Right. What happened to the girl that you were in, your ex-girlfriend?
I honestly don't know. I really don't talk to her.
Yeah.
You know, and
never heard anything?
Yeah, I try, you know, I don't really have anything against her, but this isn't the type of person that I can be around.
Right.
You know.
Same fucking boat.
Yeah, you know.
Same
And I've got, like I said, I've got nothing against them, but, you know.
Keenan, have you ever had a problem with an ex-girlfriend?
A lot. I mean, okay, mine's the drug part, but no, this one was, I ain't gonna try to explain too much on it. I mean, a lot of other people know, but it was just more on the, like, the mental state and the things around it and how to keep a girl happy or kind of be loyal to it, you know. Yeah, I could talk to a lot of people. We all do that. But that means, like, you still being loyal to the one that's on your side.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good. I mean, even when it started, like, you know, okay, someone took it slow, but, like, it got around to a different state to where I actually opened my eyes a little more. It's like, no.
Being in that type of dangerous situation and not knowing it is, like I said, I almost got myself killed in the situation.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we all learn better. I
mean, everybody makes mistakes, but it's not until you. I think, in my mind, personally, that you actually genuinely realize the type of mistake that you made and the situation that you were in, and that, you know, all these things happen, but you lose touch with yourself. And when you lose touch with yourself, that's when, you know, things get even worse.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, it's always a learning experience, you know, whether it's a self thing or relationship thing or, you know, just maybe a bloodline thing, it doesn't matter. But, you know, in the long run, when you really sit down and you look at yourself or you kind of sit beside yourself, you really take that time to really understand the full you.
Yeah.
And it sucks when honesty kicks in.
Oh yeah,
but it has to happen.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely has to happen.
And true, and I remember saying, a friend of mine was saying in some video, like, you can't help everybody when they really can't do it from themselves.
Oh, some people don't even want help, and that's a sad thing, And
well, the thing too is step on two is that the people that are having problems is that you can try to help them all you want, but if that person doesn't want to help themselves, there's just no point.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, you can't change somebody; they got to change themselves.
Yeah,
but,
and that was something that I went through.
Right.
And initially, I didn't want to change myself, and not changing myself, it was just I just went through these downward spiral, and I didn't really even see it. And when I didn't even really see it, that's how things started to really become, I guess you could say, in a way. And at the time, it really broke my heart when I was in this relationship, because I was trying to settle down and I was trying to really develop a relationship, but unfortunately it just went down south, and it really, in a way, brought me down south. And, that's how, in a way, that's when my alcoholism had really started. And I didn't even see it happen. And, over the years, I just kept doing this thing to myself and hurting myself. And in a way, I didn't really want it to stop. But in the same sense, when I'd go home and I'd look myself in the mirror, that's when I was telling myself, I'm like, man, this is, why are you doing this? Why are you hurting yourself? Why, why are you being this thing? It's not fixing your potential. And, not fixing my potential got me a late start in comedy in a way. Because it wasn't just my fault in general, but it was, I didn't have the right interaction and the positive backing to say that, hey, you know what, Billy, you are funny. You have what it takes. It's going to take work, but you have what it takes to be a comedian. And now I'm at a point to where I'm like, you know what? I am. I really am. And it's not seeing the benefit through money or seeing the benefit of having like a large house or this or that. I live in a small apartment, but I live with the person that I love. And if it wasn't for the person that I love, I don't think I would be the person who I am today. And if it wasn't,
you always want to love yourself too in the process.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I can definitely
always
agree. And it took years to get that development, but I'm finally to be the person I know I can be. And that is such a great motivation. I think one of the things that happens with a lot of people that try to pursue comedy or acting or anything in entertainment in general, they lose that motivation, or they don't see it, or maybe they've just got a different method in general. But you can't judge people like that. You can't really say, hey, this guy never had what it took. This guy isn't good enough. It's you really gotta back him.
Yeah. But I think a lot of times too is you kept saying people think I'm funny or approval, but like for me personally, I kind of like I got over that like in my 20s, because my thing is if I enjoy doing it, why am I not going to do it? If people enjoy watching this and enjoy tuning in, that's great. But like, as long as I enjoy what I'm doing, if I enjoy comedy, I don't need people's approval though.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I went through.
You don't need somebody to tell you that you're good, because if you love to do it and you can, if it fulfills something inside you, then you should do it anyways, no matter if you're good, bad, whatever. No, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, well, for me, it was, I had some people say, yeah, go ahead and do it. I had other people say, oh man, you ain't good enough. But the road that I took And when I say the road that I took is that I'm also an epileptic, and not being able to drive, that's hard. I had to walk a lot of places, and that's so that I wouldn't be in a car wreck or somebody else would get, hurt by me. It's actually having the story of walking to do this. And, it wasn't that people weren't backing me. It's, for me, it was the process and the real genuine process of what, in my mind, is being a comedian, doing the work, what you have to do, whether it's whether it's being low on cash or just, cutting things out of your life, whether it's, being a better person, doing, just all these different things that made me who I am today, and I feel like that because a lot of what I did in my life and how I got to places, I had to walk. I genuinely had to walk. And, that was, getting groceries and taking them back to my apartment when I lived with an old friend of mine. Or it was, when I would, like I just said in general, just walking to different places in general, but I actually genuinely had to put forth that effort in me to actually genuinely feel like I am the success I am today to be what I thought was a true comedian. When in all reality, like you said, there's these things we got to drop off. And, if I really love this, then, I don't need other people's approval. One of the things that I dealt with, I had a lot of self-doubt. Mm-hmm. I didn't think people would really believe in me. I didn't even think that I would believe in me. And, all the years that it took, and it really changed who I was.
Well, that's good.
I've reaped a lot of good benefits by, putting forth this genuine effort to become this person. And now I feel like that I'm ready to take on new steps and, just take on the world as I can in general. It's having that new responsibility of myself. And when I didn't even have it. And not having that, that's probably a lot of the reason why I had that self-doubt. And having that self-doubt, it hurts.
Right.
It really hurts.
Well, it seems like you're on the right track now. And we went over an hour. So I want to thank Keenan.
Yay,
love you, Keenan, for being here. Billy,
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's been great having you. It's good seeing you again. I'm glad you're doing so well.
Definitely.
And we'll definitely have you come back through the network and do some shows and do some more podcasts like this. So,
I would love to.
So thank you again. So if you check out Billy on his Facebook page, and
yeah, you better.
He'll keep you updated on his next stand-up that he's going to be doing. But if you're in the area, what's this gas station you work at here?
I actually work at the Circle K. It's in the Wentzville area. If you're heading towards Troy, you can stop in. There's a apartment complex right next to it. I'm usually there 5 days a week, but, if you need to get gas, if you need to get Gatorade, beer, or whatever you need.
Some good laughs.
Yeah, if you need a laugh.
Hey, what's the most annoying thing? Is people getting the lottery tickets? Because that's the most annoying thing that's in front of me. Is when people want to get all the scratch offs.
I'll tell you right now, in all honesty, the most annoying thing about working in a gas station are the customers that wants you to do things. Like I have this one gentleman come through, and he's actually got a small stub of paper what kind of tickets he would like. Oh. And then he always denies the fact that that's not what he wants. Like he just lies. It's like he's getting tickets, but we're never doing our job right. It's like, dude, I know how to do my job, man.
Is he older? Is he an older guy or?
Yeah, he's an older gentleman.
Okay.
But I've also had one lady come through, and she's a big pain in the ass. I can tell she's got some problems, but, you know, hey.
I mean, you
what
love
can
your
you
job.
say? You're living the dream.
Love your job. Love what you do.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we write a skit working at a gas station, Billy can be our consultant on that one.
Oh,
Made
definitely.
made that cameo
I
appearance.
had no problem whatsoever.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe to the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. We have great guests every day on the Daily Dirt, and also like the Arch Night Network. Big news, folks. We are moving into Soulful Illusion Studios in Westport. Brandy Thomas, the CEO of that company, is going to be letting us come in there and do remote shows of the network. So a lot of great shows are going to be filmed at Soulful Illusion Studios this fall and winter. Very exciting time for all of us. So definitely get involved with the Arch United Network. Definitely check out soulfulillusionstudios.com. Come by and get a tour. They have membership available and also spaces for rent. So anyways, thank you again for watching.
Wait, I've got one more thing to say.
Yes, Billy.
I just want to say to any artists out there, whether it be music, acting, comedy, whatever it is, don't give up. Work hard, put out the grind, you know, work for it, do what you got to do. Don't give up on yourself.
Saying that's a
boom. There we go. And thank you for watching.